Hi everyone, welcome to Difference Frames the World, an independent channel where you can see the world differently in our daily uploads. Today, we show our respect to former US President Jimmy Carter, who passed away at the age of 100 several days ago. Jim Carter is remembered in China for his pivotal role in ending decades of entrenched hostility and establishing diplomatic relations with Beijing. This historic diplomatic shift, which took place in 1979, ushered in profound and far-reaching changes in relations between the two countries over the following decades. At the peak of the Cold War era, the Carter administration engaged in months of covert negotiations with Chinese officials aimed at normalizing relations, as both had the former Soviet Union as their common rival. China and the United States had been estranged since the Communist Party drove the Nationalist Party to Taiwan, where Chiang Kai-shek continued his daydream of recovering the mainland from the Communists. For many years before the secret negotiations, Washington had officially recognized the Republic of China in Taipei as the sole legitimate government representing all of China. While initial steps toward rapprochement with the People's Republic of China were taken during Richard Nixon's presidency, most notably marked by his historical handshaking with Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai in 1972, it was under Carter's leadership that Washington executed a formal switch in diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing. On December 15, 1978, President Carter publicly announced that effective January 1, 1979, the United States would terminate its diplomatic relations with Taiwan and extend official recognition exclusively to the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government representing all Chinese people. The United States also terminated its Mutual Defense Treaty with Taiwan and subsequently withdrew its military personnel from the island. This bold decision not only reshaped America's foreign policy, but also laid down a complex foundation for future interactions within East Asia. This move changed power dynamics across the Taiwan Strait and affected America's alliances even today. Jimmy Carter's actions have left an indelible mark on history. However, Carter's shift to Beijing was met with anger and a profound sense of abandonment and betrayal that resonated deeply within the Taiwanese populace. This emotional upheaval even sparked violent anti-American demonstrations in Taipei. It is laughable that some separatists on the island still believe the U.S. Army will come to their rescue in case of a unification war with Beijing. On January 1, 1979, a monumental shift occurred as the United States and the People's Republic of China formally established diplomatic ties. Notably, at the end of that same month, President Jimmy Carter welcomed Deng Xiaoping on the South Lawn of the White House, which was not just a meeting between two country leaders but also symbolized an important milestone, the first visit by a Chinese communist leader to American soil. During this welcoming ceremony, Jimmy Carter expressed his hopes for the new chapter in relations between Beijing and Washington. We expect that normalization will help to move us together toward a world of diversity and peace. In today's world, it might sound ridiculous for a U.S. president to make such a remark calling for diversity and peace, but it was reasonable in the late 1970s when Moscow and Washington ripped the world into two halves. His words encapsulated not only his vision for future collaboration, but also reflected an understanding that building bridges between nations could lead to mutual prosperity. In response to Carter's remarks, Deng Xiaoping commended what he described as Carter's far-sighted decision, acknowledging its pivotal role in ending the period of unpleasantness between Beijing and Washington for 30 years. As bilateral ties flourished over subsequent years, encompassing areas such as trade, investment, and academic and cultural exchanges, one particularly impactful initiative facilitated by Jimmy Carter was student exchange programs. During negotiations to normalize relations between China and the U.S., Deng posed an important question regarding whether Chinese students would be permitted to pursue their studies in America. The gravity behind such inquiries was palpable. They signified more than just educational exchanges. Rather, they indicated aspirations for deeper engagement between two cultures long separated by ideological divides. Deng specifically asked if China could send 5,000 students abroad for education. Jimmy Carter's response was strikingly ambitious: China could send 100,000. Such bold declarations illustrated not merely optimism, but also highlighted an eagerness on both sides to embrace change and foster connections through knowledge sharing. The student exchange programs helped both countries greatly. China's unprecedented development in the past decades is a result of the diligence and perseverance of the Chinese people, which no one can challenge. However, technology and investment from abroad, particularly those from the United States, also play a vital part. Of course, the US also benefited a lot from Chinese brains, without which the US could not make breakthroughs on most fronts, if not all. As bilateral ties between the United States and China have deteriorated in recent years, a growing chorus of critics within the US has begun regarding the long-standing strategy of Jimmy Carter's engagement with China. This shift in sentiment is largely driven by the fear that China might take over the United States, ruining America's global hegemony. Amid escalating tensions characterized by rising nationalist sentiments and frequent calls for decoupling between the two world powers, particularly under Donald Trump's first presidency, Jimmy Carter, in his late 90s, was a calm and rational voice advocating for continued engagement with China. He expressed grave apprehension that if deep-seated mistrust persists unchallenged, a modern Cold War between our two nations is not inconceivable. He cautioned that misperceptions and miscalculations, especially regarding tense regions like the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea, could easily escalate into military conflict. Such an outcome could not only destabilize both nations, but could also trigger a worldwide catastrophe with far-reaching implications. After leaving office, Carter did not fade into obscurity. Instead, he remained an influential figure in shaping the connections. His commitment to diplomacy was evident through numerous visits to China over the years. He was graciously received by successive Chinese leaders who recognized his pivotal role. Jiang Zemin praised him as an old friend of the Chinese people, while Carter's interactions with Xi Jinping underscore his enduring significance in navigating these complex bilateral dynamics. Carter's connection to China extends far beyond his presidency. While tensions mounted during China's civil war between the communists and the nationalists, he was stationed aboard a submarine that operated in and out of various Chinese seaports, ranging from Shanghai to Qingdao. Just months after Carter departed from China, history took its course as nationalist forces retreated to Taiwan. Notably, the People's Republic of China was born on his birthday when he celebrated his 25th anniversary. This coincidence fueled an intense passion for understanding China's culture and politics that has endured throughout his life. Despite recent strains in Sino-American relations, Jimmy Carter held considerable respect among many within China. His unique perspective and historical ties served as bridges between two nations navigating complex issues. On December 29, 2024, the Chinese government expressed its condolences after Jimmy Carter passed away, recognizing him as a key promoter and decision-maker in establishing diplomatic relations between the United States and China. This acknowledgement underscores the pivotal role Carter played during a transformative period in international relations, reflecting both nations' aspirations for collaboration and understanding. Over the years, he made significant contributions to the development of China-US relations and the friendship between the two countries, which we highly commend, stated Mao Ning, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, during a regular news conference that attracted considerable attention. In various reports concerning his death, Chinese state media outlets highlighted Carter's enduring legacy regarding US-China relations, portraying him as an essential figure facilitating a crucial thawing of tensions. The sentiment was echoed on Chinese social media platforms where numerous users affectionately referred to him as the good old man, highlighting an appreciation for his efforts to bridge cultural divides. Jimmy Carter made his first visit to Taiwan in 1999, where he was met with a wave of scrutiny and criticism over his earlier decisions 2 decades before. During a speech in Taipei, however, he stood by his decision as a right one, illustrating his unwavering belief that political realities necessitated such a shift from Taipei to Beijing. Jimmy Carter did not abandon Taiwan. Instead, Taiwan should thank him for maintaining the island's status quo. Without Carter's insistence, Beijing should have taken it over decades ago. During his discussions with Deng Xiaoping regarding Taiwan's status in 1978, Jimmy Carter had a big argument with the Chinese leader over China's insistence that they declare Taiwan merely a province of China, while simultaneously demanding the U.S. stop military assistance to Taipei. In stark contrast to this pressure, Carter emphasized his stance. He argued for maintaining support for Taiwan within the framework established by their treaty obligations, specifically advocating for adherence to a one-year notice before breaking any agreements and ensuring continued defensive assistance. The aftermath of this diplomatic switch was significant. It led Congress to pass the Taiwan Relations Act (TRA), which served as a crucial legislative measure enabling Washington to maintain unofficial ties with Taipei while formally recognizing Beijing. This act not only facilitated commercial and cultural exchanges through institutions like the American Institute in Taiwan, but also mandated that America provide military support to bolster Taiwan's self-defense capabilities. However, while the act committed U.S. resources towards defensive arms for Taiwan, it is ambiguous about how America would respond should China decide to unite with the island militarily. This ambiguity has since come to be known as strategic ambiguity, which we have discussed many times in our previous videos. This policy has created an environment rife with tension between China and the United States, particularly as relations have deteriorated over recent years amid rising geopolitical challenges linked directly to issues surrounding Taiwan's status and security. Jimmy Carter passed away, but his influence stays and continues. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos on global affairs for more insights into this complex and rapidly evolving landscape. We have included most of our videos in the playlist DFTW videos on the end screen for viewers who have not watched them. For those new to DFTW, please subscribe to our channel for our daily uploads. Like, forward and share our videos with your friends, helping DFTW become a club with 1 million, not 100,000 subscribers shortly. We have over 85,000 subs now, and we rely on you to grow it even bigger.